Hey mate, Bastian from Australian Sporting Agencies here. Today I'm going to talk about the Precise Hunting Adapter. It's an adapter that you use for front-mounted thermals or night vision devices that you basically clip in and clip on your device in order to connect it to your day scope, which then turns your day scope in a night vision scope or night vision capable scope or thermal vision capable scope. So traditionally, adapters always had inlays. So manufacturers would reduce the number of adapters necessary in order to make an adapter that fits any scope. So as an example, this is a 65 millimeter diameter scope, right? But I have another rifle here, which has a 45 millimeter diameter scope. So a manufacturer would then just go, all right, we're just gonna make a 70 millimeter diameter adapter, and then we put these inlets in various different sizes in order to bring the adapter size down to what you actually need. Now, it's great from a manufacturing point of view because you only need 2 or 3, maximum of 4 adapter sizes in order to service any scope. However, that comes at a massive trade-off. And the trade-off is that these plastic inserts will give over time and they're not accurate. Like, you would never have a plastic insert in your scope rings. Like, you wouldn't even consider that, right? But people don't think about that. That's basically what you're doing. You're putting plastic pieces between your day optic and your thermal optic, and the accuracy of that thermal optic is dependent on these, not even a cent in production cost to make these. So you have a multi-$1,000 setup that hinges on these. So what happened is that this guy in Germany who makes Bugatti brake plates thought, and he's a passionate hunter, and he looked at this and went, well, that's not good or good enough. So he was like, oh, well, I got the engineers, I got the machinery, so I'm just gonna do it. So this is basically the history of precise hunting. That's where they're coming from. So they're making high-end, really precise equipment, and now they're making adapters based on what they believe is necessary in order to make it as accurate as possible. So I'm going to walk you through all the pros on the device and how it all works and how we're going to mount it. Compared to standard adapters, the Precise Hunting adapters come in a particular size for a particular diameter, and you have to get it to 0.2 millimeters accurate, meaning that if you have a 65 millimeter outer bell diameter, you need the Precise Hunting 65 mil. If you have a 66 mil or even a 65.5, you need a different adapter, because adapters will not clamp down sufficiently because that would increase the inaccuracy. So from a manufacturing point of view and from a distributor point of view, it's, to be honest, a pain in the ass, because we have to have every millimeter or even half of a millimeter adapters for each individual size. So we have, 60 different adapters so that you can buy the exact adapter specifically for your scope. The downside is obviously that if you don't have the exact same scope, I can almost guarantee that you're going to have multiple of these adapters, right, for each individual scope. However, the cool thing is they come in 2 parts. So this part goes onto the device and this part goes on your scope. So you only need that part particularly for the adapter part that goes on your scope. You need to buy that for each individual scope because it stays permanently on the scope. Whereas this part you only need once. So how do that work? It's a bayonet mount. You just fit it together and then you turn it. Now, the turn is 45 degrees and it's only a hand-tight turn. I asked them, why isn't there a click so you can actually hear it, locking in? And the response was, it's not accurate because a click indicates that there is play, and therefore it's just hand-tight. And after hand-tight, there is no more than hand-tight. Like, that's it. And then you just take it back out again. So showing you that on the device or on the rifle, I have it mounted at the moment with a Nighthawk thermal clip-on. So all I do is I just turn it and I take it off. Okay, so imagine you're sitting at a dam in the late Arvo and the sun goes down and it's getting darker and darker and your scope is not going to be sufficient anymore. So now you're going to need your night vision or your thermal vision. So all you do is you take the adapter, you light it up, you click it in, you turn it, and you're done. So it's a 2-second job to mount it, and now it's done. The great thing is that because the tolerances are so small on these devices, your thermal is now accurate. So it's basically like a quick release that you know from your ring system or your mount system. And again, if you don't have the right tolerances, then your quick release won't return your scope to 0. The same thing applies here with the adapter. So the special thing about the Precise Hunting Adapter is the internal design. So when you have a perfectly shaped circle and you tighten it down, you're actually only going to get 2 pressure points within the adapter that will hold the adapter. It's not like it sits perfectly around the scope on every single millimeter. It'll literally be 2 areas. Now, Precise Hunting, what they've done is they made cutouts in the adapter here in order to have 3 areas actually attach and push onto your scope firmly. So what they did a pull test. They took a scope and they pulled this direction on the adapter until the adapter came off. The Rusin adapter would come off at a pull of 80 kilograms. The Precise Hunting one, they stopped at 250 kilos. They stepped the test because they're like, that's sufficient. I really encourage them to actually do the test and see what happens, because I think that actually potentially the scope will come apart at some point. But anyway, long story short, this adapter sits so snug around your scope that recoil will not affect it. So the Precise Hunting adapters come with a variety of accessories. I'm just going to talk about the ones that sell the best and that are really sort of out there that nobody else has. One is the dust cover. So if you imagine I have my scope on here, like I have it here, right? And my thermal is actually not mounted on it, right? Some customers have really nice scopes and they want to protect them. So they're saying, well, we want a dust cover. No problem. They have a dust cover, which is this, right? And you just put the dust cover in and same, bayonet in, all good. However, some of the European customers said, well, I really need to protect my glass when I go through the scrub, which is sort of what we do in Australia occasionally too, going for pigs. However, I need to be able to do a quick shot, especially if I've injured an animal and I chase it down and I track it down. I need to do a quick shot and I can't run my thermal on it, but I want to protect my scope because, I'm going through the scrub. So what they've done is they actually put in glass inside of the dust cover. So when you put that on, you can still use your scope perfectly fine, like you wouldn't even know about it, and it protects your lens. Great addition. The other one, which I think is absolutely brilliant, is an eyepiece. So this is a 3 times magnification eyepiece. And you're going, what? Why would I need that? Well, if I have a clip-on, I can't look through it. Or if what you'll see for the guys that have never tested it is the screen is like absolutely tiny. Because you got to remember that the scope has a magnification of whatever, 3, 4, 5, and it looks onto the screen, which is like right in front of it. So therefore, the screen looks absolutely tiny if I were to look through it like this. Which then, what you do is you take the eyepiece with 3 magnification, you click it in, and now you have a monocular. I know, it looks a little bit like a German World War II grenade, and I'm going to make a little bit of joke about it. But for the guys that want to spend money once, have a monocular and a clip-on, this is a great opportunity because that eyepiece is a lot cheaper than buying a second thermal. So what I can do, especially the guys that shoot foxes and dogs, you have a window of 15 to 20 seconds to take your shot at best. So having a clip-on device that requires you to screw stuff on, you look through it, and then you see a dog and you got 20 seconds. By the time you have unscrewed that and by the time you screw your adapter onto your scope, the dog is long gone. So now with the eyepiece, all you need to do is click in. So I walk around, I have my eyepiece, I keep looking for dogs or foxes or whatever varmint I want to shoot. I find something, all I do is I twist it off and I twist that on and I rock and I'm ready to go. So it took, 3 seconds? 4 seconds if you do it at night without seeing something, but you bang on. So that's an awesome addition to it. Then there are a whole bunch of other little accessories that you can attach, such as a green glass that sits between the device, that basically sits in here, which is between the device and the adapter. And what that does is that if you have white hot or black hot in your thermal, if you use the green, it really makes the black and white really pop, and it looks more like a night vision device. So first, when I heard about it, I thought, oh, that's a bit average. But once you use it, you're going, holy moly, how can I ever go without this? So they're also available from Precise Hunting. And yeah, that's the range. That's it. That's the reason why. And we recommend highly, don't make your multi-$1,000 items fail because of a 1 cent piece. Spend the money like you do on your precision rings. Spend the money on the Precise Hunting adapters to ensure that you get the full accuracy and usage out of your clip-on devices.